Wilson?
Yep. Zach Wilson is not good enough to be a Jag.
Yeah. So the main event, the primetime game that everybody's looking forward to, Sunday Night Football, Chiefs versus Jets.
Click.
We can both agree the Chiefs are going to win, right? So let's just move past the game preview. Let's talk about Zach Wilson.
Let me real quick from a betting
yeah.
angle. Like I'm not like I might look at like just the Chiefs team total, or maybe just play the under on the Jets team total. I would love to see what it is, because if it's like north of 14, like I don't even know what I would do. I would probably bet the under on the Jets team total and just see what happens. But I'll tell you this much: it'll probably be like a happy day in the house. Like, you know, my wife won't have to watch like 13 hours of football straight. Like it'll just be red zone, and then like the 1 and the 4 o'clock games. And then after that, it's all right, let's catch up on 90 Day Fiance or anything that isn't football, because one, she hates Taylor Swift. And this is probably all they're going to talk about is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, the new power couple, and, you know, how his jersey sales like went up like 400% since the game and all that nonsense. But to Zach Wilson, Jay, I thought like the Mac Jones truthers were bad. The people that are just dying on the Zach Wilson is not the problem hill is hilarious. Like a couple of times I'm like, am I about to lose control of my truck?
Well, you know why, right? You know why
it's
they say
insane.
that, right? Because Robert Saleh is saying that. Like the head coach is saying that. So of course the fan base is going to take that and run with it.
It's just like one of the guys. I love the fan. I listen to the fan whenever I get in the car or whatever. And I love Brandon Tierney. Brandon Tierney, he's a good guy. But like some of the takes, it's like, well, if Sauce Gardner didn't drop that pick six, that would have been pick 6 in Dallas, they probably would have won that game, and they would have been like 2-1, 2-0 going into that New England game and all that. I'm like, dude, like in what world? Like you're putting this on like the defense not doing enough, but like Zach Wilson's not keeping the defense on the sideline to catch their breath and not be on the field for 45 minutes in a 60-minute game. Like what are you talking about? This kid can't play. He's got happy feet. It was an absolute reach at taking this guy coming out of BYU. And that's no shot at BYU. I mean, Jim McMahon came out of BYU and played for the Bears and won a Super Bowl.
Let's take the shot. Fuck it. Let's take the shot.
But he's not that guy. He's not even like Carson Wentz. He's not even like a Sam Darnold. He's not even just a guy. He can't play the game. And this was an absolute travesty by this coaching staff, by this general manager that went all in on Aaron Rodgers. They went all in on Aaron Rodgers. They brought all of his friends. They brought the band back together from Green Bay and made Forum Park, Green Bay North. And within 4 plays, we've been calling it all season that this is one missed block away from being like the Titanic for the 2023 NFL season. Nathaniel Hackett can't coach. He's just there to be Aaron Rodgers' ego inflator. And they had Aaron Rodgers out there to also be the offensive coordinator on the field. And everything went up in smoke. And now everyone's saying, oh, well, they need to open up the playbook more for Zach Wilson. He can't even read a defense, and you want to open the playbook up so he can succeed. And he's showing signs of improvement in practice.
The only reason that game was a 1-score game against the Patriots on Sunday was because they purposely made sure he didn't open the playbook up. Mm-hmm. They purposely made sure he couldn't throw those interceptions and ruin the game for them.
Jay, let me ask you this question. If Saleh's saying, right, and we're not in practice, right? We're not in practice, so all right, I'll take what Saleh's saying. If Saleh is saying that Zach Wilson is showing improvement in practice, and he's practicing against the New York Jets defense that's vaunted last year and was the big crutch of like, hey, this is a championship caliber team with this defense. They just need the quarterback to put him over the hump. How is that improvement against this, iron sharpens iron? How is that not translating to Dallas, to New England, to the Bills? Like how?
Well, I think that's why I have this take that Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback I've ever seen play football. And I think the guy is not an NFL quarterback. And I think he's being put into a position for people to justify their draft positioning of him. Simply put, right? Like I used to think that Jamarcus Russell was the worst quarterback I ever saw play football. Jamarcus Russell was bad because he didn't put the effort in. I think Zach Wilson is a hard worker, and he the reason why he's sticking around in New York is because they see the work he puts in. But he's just bad. He's simply just bad. He can't translate it from the practice field to the practice field to the actual game field. Now, some of these stats that I have here, I want to run through real quick, just because they show in comparison just how bad he is, especially when you put it up against Jamarcus Russell's career stats, right? Win-loss record, Zach Wilson 8 of 16, Jamarcus Russell 7 of 18. Completion percentage, Zach Wilson 54%, Jamarcus Russell 52%. Touchdown interception ratio 16 to 21, and then 16 to 18 for Jamarcus Russell. And then finally, the passer rating is 68.9 for Zach Wilson and 67.8 for Jamarcus Russell. Like it's sad what's happening, because now I kind of almost feel bad for Zach Wilson, because he is being put in a position that he shouldn't be put into. Like that's like you going to work every single day, Puma. You work in the aviation industry, and you work as a dispatcher, as most people know. Like, but this is you going to work, and your boss says, "Hey, you go sit in that plane and you try to fly that thing like every single day." Of course, it'd be a train wreck. Like at some point, the leadership team in New York has to be like, "Yo, listen, this is not working anymore. We've got to take him off the field." And that's what I don't understand about Robert Saleh. Like now the ire needs to be switched over to Robert Saleh, because now he's purposely putting a kid out there on the football field that's actively working against your football team. So I don't know what he's doing. I really don't.
You want to hear a Saleh story that I heard on
Yeah,
the Fan, and
let's hear it.
it honestly blew my mind. So those of you that live in the New York tri-state area know that Joe Beningo was a long time radio host of the midday, and then had a cup of coffee in the afternoon drive. Lifelong Jets fan. He has Saleh's phone number, right?
Mhm.
After the Pats game, like immediately after the Pats game, he was texting Robert Saleh for over an hour about this game and about Zach Wilson and about how things need to change. And it's like, you have to think about the timeline, Jay, right? Like the game ends. You go to your post-game presser, and then at some point, you leave Foxborough and you're talking to a former radio host for an hour?
Mhm.
Like, what, like, in what world are you doing that? And not even that, Jay. Like, you're talking about the quarterback that's under fire, and he's saying to Saleh that, like, if you don't change something with Zach, like, you're going to be out of a job with him. And he kept talking to this guy. Like, what do you do? Like, you're focusing the wrong energy. Like, you have the most insane rabbit ears. Like, I don't understand. What coach does that is beyond me. And yet he's going to stand up there at the podium with a straight face and say that Zach has shown improvement and Zach is the unquestioned leader, quarterback moving forward. And the bar is so low that when BT Brandon Tierney's co-host asked him what was the improvement in the game with New England, and Tierney said, "Oh, he didn't throw 3 picks." If that is the bar, stop. Just go home. You just go home.
Yeah.